You're listening to a New York Yankees episode of the Jacob Valk Show. He's breaking down the team's latest goings-on as only he can. Follow him on Twitter @RealJacobValk. Here he is, Jacob Valk.
Hello, Yankees fans! Welcome to another New York Yankees episode of the Jacob Valk Show. I am the Jacob Valk, and you're not. Last week, I threw down the gauntlet for the Yankees. I said they needed to sweep the Rangers and take 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, and the Rays. We are halfway through that challenge, and the Yankees have exceeded that. Somehow, some way, they swept the Red Sox at Fenway. Sweeping the Rangers just isn't impressive. Okay, it's good that you got the sweep, but that should be expected of you. I care about sweeping the Red Sox. I care about sweeping a team that you may meet a week from tomorrow, either in the Bronx or in Boston. Hopefully it's in the Bronx, but I gotta be honest with you, I wouldn't mind it in Boston. Like, I just saw the Yankees sweep the Red Sox at Fenway Park. I just saw Garrett Cole pitch a great game at Fenway Park. I saw Giancarlo Stanton look like the second coming of Babe Ruth at Fenway Park. I saw Aaron Judge have some big moments at Fenway Park. If the one-game playoff is at Fenway, the Yankees can win it. Would you prefer it to be at Yankee Stadium? As a Yankees fan, the answer is yes. But it's really not the end of the world. Also, I've sort of kind of worked out how I'm gonna go to that game. I don't want to tell you about it now, because it may not happen, but if it does, I know what I'm going to do. The Yankees right now are the second hottest team in baseball. They're behind just the Cardinals, a team that's won 16 straight games. Absolutely incredible. The Cardinals get to lose to the Dodgers in the wild card game. The Yankees are 1 game up on the Red Sox right now. They're in the driver's seat. If they win their next 2 series, I don't want to say it's a guarantee that the wild card game will be in the Bronx. Because technically speaking, if the Yankees just take 2 out of 3 against the Blue Jays and Rays, and the Red Sox sweep the Orioles and Twins, the wild card game is going to be at Fenway. And it's not impossible to think that the Red Sox could sweep the Orioles and Twins. The Orioles and Twins are garbage. I don't know if you'd be able to put a solid major league team out there if you combine their 2 rosters. The biggest thing for the Yankees right now is to hope that they play the Red Sox. I don't care if it's in Boston, and I don't care if it's in the Bronx. It just has to be against the Red Sox. The atmosphere at Fenway Park, according to, I think it was Buster Olney, it may have been someone else, but someone said that it was like 70-30 Red Sox fans. Now, granted, if the game is at Yankee Stadium, it's at least 70-30 Yankees. But if the game is in Toronto, it's 100-0 Blue Jays fans. If it's Yankees Blue Jays in the Bronx, it's 100-0 Yankees fans. And if you throw the Mariners and the Athletics into the mix, it's 100-0 Yankees, Athletics, or Mariners, depending on where the game is. No one's going to fly cross-country during a pandemic to watch their team play a baseball game. Especially during a work day. You want to tell me you could do it for a weekend? Okay, I could see that. A work day? No, that's not going to happen. So obviously the A1 scenario is for the Yankees to play the wildcard game in the Bronx, but I'm okay with it being in Boston. That's not a terrible thing. I mean, barring an epic collapse, which is possible because this Yankees team has been streaky all year, the Yankees are making the playoffs. I don't know if I'd bet the rent on them making the playoffs, but I feel very confident in saying that the Yankees will make the playoffs. The only question left is this. Because I've given you my opinion on Boone and Cashman a million times. Anything less than making noise in the ALCS should warrant their immediate dismissal. As for what the offseason has in store on a specific level, there are a million permutations that I'm not even going to attempt to work through until I have to. I may end up devoting a whole night to it. Like, I could really see myself Wednesday night having the NL wildcard game on in the background, going through a million different scenarios involving the Yankees. Hopefully, I don't need to do that, though, because the Yankees will be in the ALDS. But you can't get there unless you win the wildcard game. And here's the question. What do you do with Garrett Cole? The Yankees have announced their starters for Tuesday to Friday. Jameson Taillon's coming off the IL to start tomorrow. Garrett Cole is going to start Wednesday. Corey Kluber's going to start Thursday, and Nestor Cortez is going to start Friday. That means that Cole could be asked to start Sunday's game on 3 days rest. So here's the question. Is there a scenario where Garrett Cole starts on 3 days rest on Sunday? The answer is yes. If Sunday's game is a must-win game for the Yankees to clinch a playoff berth, then yeah, Cole is starting that game. At the end of the day, the wildcard game doesn't matter if you're not in it. But nothing would be worse than seeing Cole pitching on Sunday. because he is their best shot to win the wild card game. In a one-game playoff, you want Cole starting. It's why you'd want him starting on 3 days rest on Sunday if that became a must-win game for the Yankees to get into the playoffs. But I'd rather Cole pitch in the playoffs rather than the regular season, obviously. Like, here's the thing. Saturday's game, you'll probably see a guy like Severino start it. And maybe he'll be asked to go, 3 innings. And maybe Domingo Germán will be asked to go 3 innings. Maybe Jonathan Loaisiga would be asked to pitch a couple innings. I don't know. There's also a scenario where the Yankees fall off a cliff. They get swept by the Blue Jays and they lose to the Rays, in which case Montgomery's starting Saturday and Cole's starting Sunday to keep the Yankees' playoff hopes alive. But what's more likely is that the Yankees do a sort of bullpen game on Saturday and Sunday's game doesn't become a must-win. There are 2 scenarios that I want to throw at you. The first scenario is Sunday's game becomes a must-win game for the Yankees to have home field advantage. If that happens, do you start Garrett Cole? The second scenario is Sunday's game is a must-win game for the Yankees to get home field advantage, but you see the Rays starting lineup and you realize that they're playing 9 guys named Mo. Realize, this series against the Yankees from the Rays' perspective doesn't mean anything. The Rays are currently 6 games up on the Astros for the best record in the American League. I think it's a safe bet to say that the Rays are going to end up with home field advantage in the ALCS. They're 5 games behind the Giants for the best record in baseball. I don't think they're catching the Giants. So this series against the Yankees from the Rays end of things is meaningless. They may play 9 guys named Mo. We're not going to use any of our A pitchers. We're going to bench guys like Wander Franco and Nelson Cruz and Brandon Lau and Randy Arozarena and Austin Meadows and guys like that. The reality is, if that's the case, then a lesser pitcher like Jordan Montgomery should be expected to win that game. In fact, I'll even go a step further. If you see that the Rays are trotting out bad lineups, I don't care what the scenario is. You may want to hold Cole back. Not for nothing, but a guy like Montgomery or Tyon or the Yankees bullpen should be expected to beat bad lineups. I'm not talking about Andrew Heaney here. I'm talking about a pitcher in Montgomery who had a great season. I don't like the win-loss record, but I like the 3.49 ERA. He was the Yankees' second-best pitcher this year. And this is why you traded for Tyon. For moments like this. Why would I want to burn my ace if I don't need to? I can make a very strong argument that if the Rays are trotting out a bad lineup, you don't pitch Cole in a must-win game. A guy like Montgomery or Tyon should be expected to win that game, even the Yankees bullpen. Of course, you could do a little bit of gamesmanship if you're Kevin Cash. maybe you start the regulars, but you put in the bench like an inning or two into the game. Or you could also start the bad lineup and then put in the regulars off the bench. I wouldn't put it past Kevin Cash to do something like that. The Rays come up with these crazy things all the time. And yes, the game itself means nothing to the Rays, but realize they'll have to face the winner of the wild card game in the ALDS. They may try to throw a wrench in the Yankees' plans to not set them up as well going forward. Maybe they'd rather play the Red Sox. I don't know. Like, there are so many variables here. It's enough to make your head spin. I mean, not for nothing, but the Yankees could have solved this pretty easily by winning the games that they blew in the late innings. Or beating up on the Orioles like they should have. But, at the end of the day, the die has been cast. I think what's most likely is this. The Yankees and Red Sox will be the two wildcard teams. I've said for a while that I thought it would be the Red Sox, and with the Yankees taking care of business last week, and again, Giancarlo Stanton looking like the second coming of Ruth, I think the Yankees have catapulted themselves into the playoffs. I think they will win their upcoming series against the Blue Jays and Rays. So I think we're going to see a Yankees-Red Sox wildcard game. As for where it's going to be, New York or Massachusetts, I'm going to say Massachusetts. I just don't like the fact that the Yankees are ending with two tough teams. While the Rays may rest their guys, it's also possible that they say, you know what, we want to play spoiler a little bit. We have off until Thursday anyway. Let's play our guys. The Rays are the wild card in this scenario. No pun intended. Meanwhile, you look at the Red Sox. They have the Orioles and the Nationals coming up. I think I said Twins previously. It's the Nationals. You know what it is? Their color scheme is pretty similar. And I just can't believe that the Red Sox's last series of the year is going to be against a team that isn't even in the American League. That's just weird to me. So that's probably why I said Twins. But it's the Nationals. It's the Orioles from Tuesday to Thursday in Baltimore. Then it's a short drive to the nation's capital to play the Nationals Friday to Sunday. I mean, I could really see the Red Sox sweeping. You know they're going to be ticked off. It wouldn't surprise me if the Red Sox scored like 15 runs tomorrow. And the Yankees, unfortunately, I think, will lose one of their next 6 games. Obviously, I hope they don't, but I think they will. Alright, I know I threw a lot of scenarios out. They probably got a little confusing. I am sorry. All I know is this. We're going to have a crazy end to the season. It's going to be must-watch TV. And look, the reality is the postseason is a crapshoot. Even though the Yankees may enter as the lowest seed in the American League, it's very possible that they can go on a big run. It's going to be fun to watch. There's no question about that. Regardless of what happens, you will get a Yankee show a week from tonight. I'm going to put a bow on the season, get you ready for whatever's next for the Yankees, whether it's golf reservations, a date with the Red Sox, a date with the Blue Jays, a date with the Mariners, a date with the Athletics, whatever. Regular episodes of The Jacob Valk Show come your way every weekday afternoon. Until next time, I am Jacob Valk, saying something that you can't say enough. Shout out to you, Giancarlo Stanton.